Kim Jong-il, the former leader of North Korea, died in 2012. And I thought there could be big change because the leader was dead. However, I didn't see any change. So I was really disappointed. And I learned a lesson, right? North Korea would not change.
교육청에 따르면 2024년 기준 한국의 북한 배경학생은 2,645명으로 집계됩니다. 북한 배경학생은 출생지가 북한이거나 또는 부모 중 한 명 이상이 탈북 후 한국에서 정착해 낳은 자녀 혹은 중국과 같은 제3국에서 출생한 자녀를 일컫습니다. 북한이탈주민이 한국사회에 본격적으로 유입되기 시작한 시기는 고난의 행군이 진행되던 1990년대 중반부터이며 2000년대에는 대규모 탈북이 이루어졌습니다. 30여 년이 지난 현재 이때 한국에 들어온 이들의 자녀가 북한 배경학생의 42%를 차지합니다. 나우인 노스코리아는 북한 배경학생들에게 귀감이 되어줄 수 있는 롤모델로 박은아 씨를 섭외했습니다. 현재 미국의 UC 리버사이드 정치외교학과 박사과정에 재학 중인 박은아 씨는 10살에 탈북 후 중국에 체류하는 동안 북송되고 재탈북하는 과정을 여러 번 거쳤다고 합니다. 한국에 들어오기 전에 학업을 제대로 하지 못해 이를 극복하기 위해 공부와 연구에 몰두하다 미국으로 유학까지 가게 된 사례입니다.
Today we are hosting one of the most inspiring figures in our history, Yonsei University history, the Miss Euna Park, who is doing his PhD studies at the University of California, Riverside right now. Very interesting story herself. At the same time, very successful story herself. Okay, let's listen to her story first, and then we are going to discuss and have a Q&A session. Floor is all yours.
Thank you so much, Professor Peck. I'm so honored to be here and share my story about how I resettled in South Korea and come to the U.S. to pursue my PhD degree. So today I first want to briefly introduce my background. I was born in North Korea, in North Hamgyong province. And when I was 10 years old, my mom and I went to China, like many North Korean migrants or defectors. We left because of the severe hunger and famine during 1990s. So before coming to South Korea, I came to South Korea when I was 18 in 2006. Before coming to South Korea, we were in China as illegal migrants. And so we were repatriated to North Korea for 3 times. So as you can tell, my education was constantly interrupted. So I didn't really regularly go to school in China and in North Korea. But once I came to South Korea, I started going to school and learn math, started learning math and English, everything. So everything was really new and challenging. I felt really lost in the beginning. But gradually, I think, of course, I studied really hard, but due to, the program and support program and institutions facilitated by South Korean government and civil society, I was able to gain and help and support from those people. So I think that part was really helped me to navigate my initial education process. And but I came South Korea, it's like almost 20 years ago. So since then the support program in South Korea has been changed a lot. So when I came here in the beginning, South Korea didn't really have centralized institutions where North Koreans could get support. So Hanawan was the first place I learned English and math. And also after graduating from Hanawan, I went to regular school, high school, right? But at the time, many people told me I should not go to regular school. Instead, I should go to alternative schools run by civil society and NGOs. But I didn't want to go to those schools because I wanted to, make friends with regular South Korean students because I want to be adjusted faster. And I thought if I go to regular school, I could learn a lot and make friends and also learn South Korean culture. So I went there, but many people said I would be bullied by South Korean students. However, I think maybe I was lucky. I didn't get bullied by any of my classmates. They were really nice. And also the teachers were trying to really help me. I remember because I didn't go to private institutions where most South Korean students rely on private tutoring and institutions, but I couldn't afford those institutions. But my teachers, in the school, they really after class, they tried to teach me, help me catch up the subjects and class. So I think because of their help, even though my learning process was really slow, but because of their help, I think I have today, right? Speaking in English and studying in English in the US. So I would advise those students who are in my position, like my position 20 years ago, if they were struggling with class and struggling with anything like making friends, I would suggest that they should go to teachers and ask for help. And it's different from right now. It's different from 20 years ago. So 20 years ago, South Korea didn't really have the Hana Foundation, which is the centralized institution run by Ministry of Unification. Right now, we have this big, really supportive institution. So the environment, I think, if you seek help, you can find help from those institutions, and they have really good consultation classes and programs. So I really recommend calling them and seeking help. So anyway, through all these help and my hard work, I got into initially Hankuk University of Foreign Studies, 한국외대, and since 1997, I think South Korean government has established a special admission program for North Korean refugees or defectors. So through that program, I was able to get admitted into university. I think without that program, I don't think I could get into the university as I wanted, because first of all, the entrance exam is really challenging, not just for me, but also for most South Korean students. And it requires, enormous efforts and learning and, financial investment, which I don't have those. So through that special program, I was able to get into the university and start my education. And I majored in Chinese because I lived in China before coming to South Korea. So I was really confident in speaking and, learning Chinese. And I thought I could become an interpreter. And it was back 2008, right? 9. During that time, China was really popular. So many people doing business in China, investment and trade was really popular and growing. But I took a class like from economics and political science, and I found these subjects were really interesting. And also, in order to become interpreter, I needed those background, social science knowledge. So I started taking those classes, and also I got involved in North Korean human rights, movement, activism, because I saw people like me who experienced living in China and living in North Korea, and also had an experience of like repatriation. I saw if I share my stories, the global community could push North Korean regime, right, to change, really reform the regime. So I was really passionate about my activism. However, as you know, Kim Jong-il, the former leader of North Korea, died in 2012. And I saw there could be big change because the leader was dead. However, I didn't see any change. So I was really disappointed. And I learned a lesson, right? North Korea would not change like as I expected, the way I expected, right? Like, there couldn't be any like abrupt change, reform inside of North Korea because nobody wants that. And so I wanted to answer these questions. Why, right? Even though the leader was dead, but why global community didn't do anything, or there was no, like so-called revolution inside North Korea. So in order to seek those answers, I started really like getting involved in like studying and researching. So that was one of my motivation to, pursuing master's at UNC and then pursuing PhD in the US. So after having the identity crisis, I was asking questions about my belonging, and I really started asking, who am I, right? As we call North Korean defectors, 탈북자. Sometimes we call refugees, but some people say migrants. So all those, really contested identities and names, I started questioning myself. So those questions, I think, led me to study migration and identity, how, globalism and neoliberalism really shape not only just the resettlement, but also the identity of migrants in South Korea and across, beyond the South Korea, I think. So my dissertation is about this, and I'm examining how, the division between North Korea and South Korea and neoliberalism, these two intersect and shape North Koreans' identity and inclusion. And also I study Chinese Koreans because I think Chinese Koreans we have studied them separately, but I think that they share a lot of common in the context of, globalization and neoliberalism. So I study both groups together in my dissertation. So thank you so much for listening to my personal story and how I become pursuing PhD in the US. If you have questions, I would love to answer any questions you might have. Thank you so much for your time and listening.
Thank you for your interesting story. Very intriguing and inspiring story. You're studying in the United States, pursuing your PhD. I think this is a pretty remarkable achievement, for yourself. And my first question is about your family and your mom and your relatives. What's the role of your mom and other, say, people in your community?
I think for my mom, she's an incredible human being. I think she didn't really advise me like how to, navigate my life because she was new to South Korea, right? So she didn't have any knowledge. And also, she was too busy to, go to work and make money. So financially, she supported me a lot, but also like through her life, I think she showed, strength and resilience. And like whenever you have a hard time, she teaches me like you shouldn't stop pursuing what you want. So she was like my role model. And also, for many North Korean parents, they don't know how to give advice. They didn't grow up in South Korea and they don't really understand the system. Like they don't know, right? Even though they want to support their kids, but they don't. I think they don't know how to. So I think my mom was one of them, but I think just being there and stay with me and always like be on my side was really, that was enough for me. And then I felt really safe because of her. And then I could go outside and seek help from others, right? Like my teachers and, civil society and NGOs and even the government. So
yeah, I think that really your mom is another very remarkable and inspiring person in my view.
Yeah.
And I think you need to thank her, of course. And I think
Yes.
your family for everybody, but family really matters in any
Right.
and especially
Right.
just like North Korean refugees. And if you have lucky to have your family member in
right.
then that's a different story. All right, good. So then, that leads me to, my next questions. Do you expect that, more young North Korean refugees who settle in Korea, of course, they settle in other countries too, but in South Korea now and in the near future become successful just like you? Do you think many people, young North Korean refugees, can do that? Or probably you might be an outlier or exceptional case?
I don't think I'm an outlier because so I came to the US through Fulbright program, and the Fulbright Korea, I think it's been around almost I think 8 years, 7-8 years. They have the special program for North Korean refugees who wanted to study and pursue master's and PhD in the US. So through that, program, I think every, whoever wants to apply for that program, I think they can. But at the same time, I don't think everyone has to, pursue PhD, right?
Of course not.
It's difficult task. You can use your time and your, energy to somewhere else instead of studying. But if, any North Korean refugees or descendants of North Korean refugees, if they want to like really become academic and the scholars, then I think they could apply for that program. But of course, they have to do their homework, right? So study hard, and English should be one of the biggest hurdle for them, and still for me. So
good. Yeah. Well, I mean, being a professor or policy analyst in a very, prestigious think tank, it's another one line of career path. But there are a lot more career paths for the these young refugees and their second generations. Of course, you can be a startup businessman or can be a journalist, can be YouTubers, and
there are so many jobs.
Sure. I mean, that's but the thing is, those successful people need some support. What do you think the most essential formal and informal institutions, for these young kids, from North Korea or second generation of the young refugees to be successful one more time in South Korea and other parts of the world?
I would say, I think, financial support is really essential. Of course, like you need money, right? Financial support to do everything. essentially. But I think the information network, I think it's really essential. So network, it's not something that government can, really do, right? Like government can establish policies, but those policies have to be, delivered through the agencies, right? Local agencies, local NGOs, and local, government. So I think that network was really important. So for North Korean refugees, especially for people above, like older than 40, like after 40, they're too busy to work, so they don't really have time to, become socialized in South Korea. So I think because of that, for them, they don't really gain, knowledge and information and what to do with their kids, right? So to give advice and to really educate their kids, they need advice and informal network like neighborhood or like churches even. I think these informal institutions really can approach them and help and deliver those information. And also for younger people like me, my generation or younger than me, still I think network and information is really important. So it's because who like whom you talk to, whom you socialize, it changes your life, right? Like your identity and your path.
And then now you are studying, minority politics and then immigration politics in the United States. And then your major is interesting, at the same time has a lot of implication for North Korean refugees too. But not just North Korean refugees, but also the other types of refugees. For example, from the North Africa and then, West Africa, a lot of, refugees from this area to, Western European country, Eastern European country. And then Southeast Asia also, Rohingya people, from the Myanmar. And then lots of, economic, migrants or refugees, from the Central and then Southeast Asia, South American, countries to the United States, Canada. How do you distinguish, between the North Korean refugees and defectors and 이탈주민 and other types of refugees, from your political science and, other social science background point of view?
North Korean refugees, defectors, migrants, we are in many ways different from other refugee groups. I think North Korea, the country is not like, so from the, push perspective, I think we have a push and pull like factor. It's simple, but it's useful, right? So push perspective, I think North Korea is not a country, right? Where you can just, when I want to leave this country, then leave. It's not that type of country, right? So it's oppressive and really, surveillance heavy country. But we see, North Koreans, even though the number has decreased a lot recently, but we see, their movement, right? They move to China. So I think that tells some stories about the brokerage, like informal institutions, right? Like brokerage, and sometimes those brokerages can be human trafficking, like, network. Those, network really is the key role. Like these networks are playing the key role in bringing out, the people from North Korea and sending in messages. And also, like through the brokerage, many North Koreans are sending money to their family. And so those money also, money and information also motivate their family, like a chain migration, right? Motivate them come to the country. But those, informal networks and underground brokerages, I think we also seen this in other refugee communities, right? So when you move you needed information and money and network. So that applies to every group. So from that angle, I think North Korean migration is not too different from other migrant groups, right? But in terms of settlement, I think South Korean government has invested a lot of, not just money, but also human resource in investing in, North Korean refugee resettlement. From that resettlement perspective, we are not really refugees, right? We are treated as citizens, right? So because of the constitution. So from that perspective, I think we are different from other refugees because they don't have, a country, divided a country where they could be treated as autonomous citizens. They have to go to different country, and their settlement is not as smooth as North Korean due to lack of, support and resource. So I think from that perspective, we are on the better side because we just receive legal and economic protection. But still, that doesn't mean that we don't face discrimination. So discrimination and identity, crisis and all these and trauma, I think these are all shared by any refugee groups. So there are differences and similarities. I will stop here, but I'm just talking on top of my head.
Yeah, sure.
Right now,
Sorry, I just become a professor one more time just to ask you very difficult question for your research, and I think that's not very fair for this type of interview. Good, but your answer was excellent. There is the similarities and distinctions, and the similarity, of course, it's a lot of political situation and the economic, social treatment. At the same time, there is a very important distinction between North Korean defectors, 이탈주민, and other types of refugees, and then Constitution of Republic of Korea actually guarantee North Korean defectors, refugees, 이탈주민 immediately become a citizen of Republic of Korea. That actually guarantee a lot. Okay, good. Yeah, so that's good. So is my last question.
Yes.
Yeah. What's your plan? Getting PhD from the University of Riverside. You are expecting that, completing your PhD next year. That's what you plan.
Next year.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
I'm on job market this year, like starting this year. But I will finish next year. So I want to be in academic field and be scholars of continuing researching and teaching. So I will apply everywhere that has a job. Everywhere, like Korea, Taiwan or everywhere. Because the job market is not looking good, right? And then at the same time, I think could also apply to other research institutions, not just to universities. So I will see. But I think I will continue whenever I will be in next few years. But I think I will continue researching and doing research jobs.
Yeah, I mean, you are sounds like survivor and a winner all the time. So I hope your future is in like that in the next at least a few decades. All right, and then wherever you go, in the United States or Korea or Taiwan or Western European countries or somewhere else, I hope you best. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
북한, 한국, 그리고 미국까지 이어지는 박은하 씨의 삶과 노력은 남과 북이 정치적으로 서로 분절되어 있으나 이 안에서 살아가는 사람은 여전히 이어져 있다는 것을 보여줍니다. 나우인 노스코리아 시즌2에서는 해외 언론 최초로 평양 지국장을 했던 진 리도 비슷한 이야기를 해주었습니다. 미국 시민권을 지니고 있지만 북한 주민과 외형이 비슷해 여러 특혜를 받을 수 있었다고요. 북한 이탈 주민의 사회전문과 관련해 존스 홉킨스 메디컬 스쿨의 박소임 연구교수와도 비슷한 이야기를 나눈 적이 있습니다. 이들이 한국에서 잘 정착하는 데 핵심적인 품성이 호혜성에 대한 인식이며 이는 공동체 안에서의 관계로 조성될 수 있다는 것입니다. 박은하 씨는 이를 가장 잘 해낸 사람이 아닌가 싶습니다. 학생들 힘내세요.